Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And this is the continuation of our lesson for Ss2 Financial Accounting. And we are still on the company account. To have the broad knowledge of this topic, that's why we need to do as much as possible exercise on this topic. And this is one of the past questions. The first question, that is not in your textbook, either essential textbook or any other textbook. This is one of the past questions. You can get the question from the series, that is a WAEC series. You have a double Nigeria Limited had an authorized capital of 400,000 divided to, that is the combination of ordinary and a preference share is 400,000 divided into ordinary 100,000 5% preference share of 1 naira each and 300,000 ordinary share of 1 naira each. During the year, the following were extracted from the books. And you have a 5% preference shares, 100,000, ordinary share 250,000, general reserve 50,000, building at cost 300,000. Now the net book value is 250,000. Picture and fitting 200,000, profit and loss 1st January 20,000, stock 31st December 12,000, and debtors and creditors. Debtor is 13,600, while creditor is 20,000. Net profit for the year is 45,000 naira, and you have additional information. Here you have a cash 4,200, insurance prepaid 800 naira, provision for bad debt 600 naira, and transfer to general reserve 10,000 naira. Dividend preference share were paid during the year, and here there is no the company is not owing the shareholder, the preference shareholder, any dividend arrears now, and the director decided to recommend 10% dividend for ordinary shares holder. And because of the space, that's why we will not be able to write the solution on the board, but try to be with your own biro or pencil or the written materials, and let's do it together. And if you are asked, what the question asks you to prepare is to prepare profit and loss appropriation account and to prepare the balance sheet. And to prepare profit and loss appropriation account, remember, to make it very, very simple, you need to consider only some of the items under the additional information. How? You rule your profit and loss appropriation account in form of a T account. You have the debit side and you have a credit side. Remember to put the naira column. And under additional information, you have a transfer to general reserve. And when you prepare your profit and loss appropriation account, transfer, just write general reserve 10,000 naira. Write it on the debit side of the profit and loss appropriation account. And remember, you are giving the clause, dividend for preference share were paid during the year. Therefore, no dividend to calculate for this account. The director decided to recommend 10% dividend on ordinary share. Remember, we have a two value for the shares now. And the value given to you under the introduction of the question referred to as a authorized share capital. While the one you have under the major body of the question will represent the issued share capital. Here, to calculate the dividend, you consider the value of the issued capital, not authorized share capital. Remember, you have the authorized share capital, you have the ordinary 100,000 5% preference share of 1 naira each, 300,000 ordinary share of 1 naira each. If you had the 100,000 plus 300,000 will give us 400,000. That's the value of the authorized share capital. But to prepare the profit and loss appropriation account, remember, you prepare your T account. First of all, consider the information under the additional information. General reserve on the debit side. Here you are giving the dividend 10% ordinary share. 10% of 250. You have a 10% of 250,000. 10% of 250,000 and will give us the value. 10% of 250,000 and will give us 25,000. And move to the credit side. Under the credit side, right here you have a two profit. The first profit will be profit and loss 1st January. That's when we represent our balance brought down on the credit side of the profit and loss appropriation account. Here you have a net profit and you write this one as a net profit brought down 45,000 naira. On the credit side you have a 65,000 naira. And you have what's the remain, and you have a dividend. The dividend of this 5% for the preference share, 5% of 100,000 will give us a what? 5% of 100,000 will give us a 5,000 naira. You add this side together, 65,000 on the credit side. On the debit side of profit and loss appropriation, you have 10,000 naira, and you have the 5,000 naira, and the other one, the ordinary share, you have a 25,000 naira. When you add both three figures together, minus 65,000 naira, and the remaining balance we represent, that's on the debit side of the profit and loss account. Profit and loss account here, and you have the balance carried down, and your balance carried down here will be 25,000 naira, and this balance carried down refers to as a retained profit. And the next account to prepare, you move down to prepare the balance sheet, and the balance sheet, remember you have a liability side and you have the asset side. On the liability side, you need to follow the format. And the format is, the first thing you have to consider is you write the authorized share capital, column, underline. When you write on the liability side, you write authorized share capital and you underline. And when you underline, consider the introduction of the equation. What are the value? Here you have 100,000, you write it like this also. 100,000, 5 preference share of 1 naira each. That is 1 naira multiplied by 100,000. Under the naira column, you write the 100,000 naira. Ordinary, you write it like this: 300,000 ordinary shares of 1 naira each. And that 300,000 multiplied by 1 naira will give us a 300,000. And you write the 300,000 under the naira column, and you add it together. When you write it together and you have 300, and the first one you have 100,000 and you have 300,000, and you add it together and you have 400,000. When you close it like this. When you close it, immediately you close that one and you move. We are still on the liability side, and you move to the next line and you write the issued share capital. And when you write the issued share capital, and the first thing you have to consider, you get your information on the major body of the question. Here you have a 5% preference share. You write the 100,000 naira under the naira column. And you have an ordinary share, 250,000, and you write the 250,000 under the naira column. And you add the two together. Here you have a 100,000. And we have a 250,000, and you add them together, you have a 350,000. You don't need to close this one. You continue with your own calculation. And after that one, the next one, if you have the information on the question given to you, what's supposed to be the next item is, you have we call it a capital reserve. The capital reserve, the example of the capital reserve, we call it a share premium. If the share premium is given and you transfer it to the capital under the capital reserve, but here the capital reserve is not given, and you check you see all this information on the lesson note, and here we don't have the share premium. As a result of that, you jump that level. You move down to the general reserve. Under the general reserve, the first thing you have to consider is your net profit carried down, the balance, the value you have under the profit and loss appropriation account, which we call retained profit, and you transfer it to the general reserve. And after that one, what's supposed to follow? You have a general reserve. Here you have a general reserve of 50,000 naira. If you are giving the general reserve, transfer to general reserve under the additional information, you add two together, 10,000 with 50,000 naira, and we give us a 60,000 naira. And after that one, that is, you write the 60,000 naira under the 350,000 naira. And the next one, you have the long-term liability. If the long-term liability is given, that's a debenture. Debenture is one of the example, is an example of the long-term liability. If long-term liability is given, but based on the nature of the question, the debenture is not given, therefore you skip the word, the long-term liability. The next one you have is current liability. The example or the type of a current liability we have here, you have a creditor, and you check the additional information. If you have accrued expenses, if accrued expenses is not given, and you jump that one and you move on to the dividend. The dividend that not paid during the year, that's an accrued dividend, or the dividend that is still owing. That's why check the additional information very well. We have dividend preference share were paid during the year. The director decided to recommend 10% dividend ordinary share. 10% ordinary share, that is 10% of a 250,000, will give us a 25,000. And 25,000, you have it under immediately after the current liability. You have a dividend column, and you write the ordinary shares. You have a 25,000 naira. That's what we have under the liability side. Move to the asset side. Immediately you move to the asset side, we have the building. Check the question, what are the type of the asset given? You have a building. Building at cost. Building at cost, here under the asset side, you have a 2 column. You need to have a 2 naira column. When you have a 2 naira column, here you have a 300,000. You first of all consider the 300,000 based on the cost price, but the net book value given to you is 250,000 naira. And 250,000 naira, the question you have the immediately after under the question you have the depreciation. You have a building and no percentage of depreciation is not given. Therefore, you have the, if you find the difference between 250 and 300, and here you have a 300,000, and you discover that the difference is what? 50,000 naira, the depreciation will be 50,000 naira, and you have a 250,000 on this column. And after you move down to the furniture and fitting. Furniture and fitting, you have a 200,000 naira, no adjustment, no depreciation at all. And you move down to the current liability. The current liability, you have the stock. You have a stock, 12,000 naira, and followed by the debtors. Under the first column, you have the debtors. The debtors is 13,600 naira. You minus the provision for bad debt giving. 13,000, you have a 13,600 naira. You less the provision, and you write the net book value to under the last naira column. That's a 13,000 naira. And what next? And you check the continuation of the question. You have a cash 4,200 naira, insurance prepaid, and 800 naira transfer to the asset side. By the time you had the both sides together, and your balance sheet must be equal, that is balanced automatically without any adjustment. And your balance sheet must balance automatically without any adjustment. And you try to lay hand on other question That is from your own insertions textbook. I send the assignment to you. Make sure you attend that assignment. And if your own balance sheet is not balanced, cross-check again and again and again. And if there is no balance, and let me know the area you have a problem. Subhana rabbika.